Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining Creatio's webinar today. Today we will be discussing the top 3 ways how low-code technology will help IT and high-tech companies change faster. My name is Creatio, and I'll be the host of the webinar today. We welcome you to post your questions in the chat section throughout the webinar today, and I'll be joined by one of my colleagues from Creatio as we lead this discussion. We've established an agenda. First, I'll introduce the speakers and our company. Then we'll talk about mapping out IT industry. Then we'll talk about technology trends and challenges for the businesses. We'll talk about how to change faster with low-code technology. We'll talk about Creatio's low-code platform, and we will talk about customer success stories that have implemented Creatio, followed by our Q&A discussion today. We hope that you'll post your questions so that we can answer these questions at the end of the discussion. And for those questions that we do not reach during the webinar, we'll respond to via email after the webinar session. We'll also be following up with a recording of the webinar today for those participants who have registered. Now I'd like to just briefly hand off to Eric so Eric can give himself a quick introduction. Eric?
Hey, thanks, Craig, and welcome everyone. As Craig indicated, my name is Eric Hale. I'm Director of Sales Enablement at Creatio. I have been working within the software industry for more years than I'd care to admit to, but been really focused on customer engagement, business development, and making successful customers. In my current role here at Creatio, I am responsible for aligning our go-to-market strategy for marketing, sales, and operations, and still work with a lot of our customers intimately to help them with their digital transformation efforts. So again, welcome everyone.
Thank you so much, Eric. And for those of you, this may be a reminder for many of you, but just to talk a bit about Creatio. Creatio is a globally diverse organization with 5 offices worldwide. We have over 650 employees in those 5 offices. We have over 700 partners and a very robust and continuously growing channel network. And this enables us to deliver our solution in 110 countries around the world. We're highly recognized by key industry analysts such as analysts from Gartner and Forrester. And we look forward to discussing that analyst recognition in a bit more detail as we move forward today. We are included in 5 Gartner Magic Quadrants. The 2 first of these Magic Quadrants speaking to our low-code and process automation capabilities, and the latter 3 speaking to our CRM and SFA capabilities. We're also recognized in 7 Forrester Waves, of which we are a strong performer in, the former 2 speaking to our low-code capabilities, and the latter speaking to our CRM and SFA capabilities. Now I'd like to hand off to my colleague, Eric Hale.
Thanks again, Craig. All right, so the global IT and technical industry is really growing quite exponentially, and really the function behind many of that are trends that we're facing today. So a lot of organizations are having to look at economies, jobs, the way that people are working today. We think of COVID and how it's changed the way people work. These are all things that IT departments and technology providers have to look at. But even beyond that, we're starting to look at it from a customer perspective as well. People's lives are becoming more digital, they're more connected, more automated, and the challenge with growth in this manner, or the way that we're managing change, is that organizations really have to carefully take a look at where they're going to invest in order to recognize a quicker time to value. So as we move through the presentation, we'll be taking a look at some of these trends and challenges, and discussing how low-code can help IT departments and tech companies overcome those challenges and meet those trends. So a key area that we see our customers focusing on this year is growth. We see IT budgets increasing to support growth, also to innovate and upgrade infrastructure, software and services, It's also interesting to see that in a recent survey of over 1,000 business owners, 44% indicated that they would plan to increase their tech spend this year alone. And what's driving IT budget increases in 2020? So overall, the need to upgrade outdated IT infrastructure continues to be the biggest driver, followed by the escalating security concerns and also employee growth. However, budgets, they're being driven by different aspects for different companies by size and location. For example, a greater priority is placed on IT projects, is one of the top factors influencing IT budgets in growth enterprises. And this is really because large organizations are typically better funded and have more resources to allocate against strategic initiatives than, say, small and medium-sized businesses. But additionally, with more data, departments and employees requiring connection, managing those remote employees and security, 25% of enterprises are also increasing IT spend due to recent security incidents. Compared to only 4% of small businesses. So that's what they're focused on. In 2020, emerging tech adoption will continue the upward trend. There was a recent study by a company called Spiceworks. It was the state of IT, and the study really focused on the future of tech in the workspace. So we're looking at these examples of like emerging tech trends, right? So an example of that might be, a hyper-converged infrastructure, edge computing, blockchain technology, and artificial intelligence. We see these as growing technologies that are seeing like at least a 5% increase year over year. So these are some of the observations that we see. Budgets are growing. Technology is emerging, and we're being driven more and more by changing environments. And we can see that spending, will be focused to keep up with these trends. Outdated infrastructure is the biggest area for development, followed by increased security concerns and employee growth. Businesses in North America are more likely to see an IT budget boost. 50% expect an increase in 2020 versus 39% in Europe. So compared to those in Europe, North American businesses are more likely to increase spending to upgrade outdated infrastructure. But on the other hand, European businesses are more likely to accelerate their spending due to regulations like GDPR. So we can see that the trends are, different by region, different by industry, but, we're noticing that, the trends are, ever increasing, and, we need to focus on, these areas. So we'd like to open it up for a quick poll, and Hooray, I think we have a question for our audience at this point.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Eric, for kicking off this discussion. So we would like to make this interactive. So we're going to ask the audience to participate. What IT challenges does your organization face in 2020? And while we have you guys answer that question, Eric, how about we answer our first question from the audience, and that is, how do you identify opportunities to implement low-code technology?
Yeah, great question. So, I mean, the opportunity really varies, but, what I would say is, and we'll be talking about this a little later in the presentation, is, when we notice that, IT, is getting more and more of a backlog, the demands from the business side are, outweighing their capacity to meet these challenges or to get these applications up and running. This is always a good indication where low code can come and help alleviate some of that strain on IT departments, because we can start to utilize other resources for that project backlog. Another thing might be if we notice that there are a lot of processes that need to be extended across an organization. This is also another great area where low code can come in and help design and interconnect those processes across an entire organization.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Eric. So let's take a look at our results now that we've answered a question from the audience. And the most responded question or response was following security best practices. And while we definitely identify that these are also major IT challenges that many organizations are facing in 2020, this is a very important one. So looking forward to discussing more of these as we walk through this webinar today. Off to you, Eric.
Great. And just looking to get control back here. There we go. All right, so we looked at the trends, but we also have to take a look at challenges as well. So when it comes to the top IT challenges in 2020, again, this kind of seems true as we looked at the trends. But keeping IT infrastructure up to date will continue to be the top pain point. But there's also a mix of challenges that are both not only technology driven but also management driven, such as convincing business leaders to prioritize IT. So we have to start to think about how to align that as an organization as well. However, these challenges present opportunities for technology vendors and service providers to serve as navigators that can help businesses identify the best solutions to upgrade their infrastructure, upgrade their security management to understand security vulnerabilities. Also a good chance to look at things like disaster recovery plans, and then finally transform their technology environment with new innovations, right? So all about how we're going to innovate and keep up with the trends. So IT vendors can better serve organizations' unique IT needs by reaching out to the right buyers at the right time and understanding that strategy and how we can help create a roadmap for technology. So those challenges also present a great opportunity for IT companies and technology companies. So how do, again, now we're going to talk about how to accelerate with low-code technology. So, I think that probably if you've joined this webinar, you're vaguely familiar with low-code technology, but, we got to talk about how this will address challenges and meet demands from the industry. So, we all know that, IT departments are strained, whether that's due to lack of budget, lack of resources, or again, just demand from the business. Business is responsible for growing revenue within their organization. So a lot of times they're coming up with strategy and then relying on IT to, come up with the technology that will help them meet that goal. So, whether that's, we need new products, we need to create better experiences, we need to automate processes for our customers. And then also come up with innovations that are going to differentiate us from our competitors. So the business demand is growing, and with no surprise to anybody on this call either, those business demands are often quite imperative. We need it now, right? We don't need to wait. We need to be out in front of a lot of these things. But the problem is the business demand is growing 5 times faster than IT has the capacity to fulfill it. So we have projects in backlog now. We're trying to prioritize those projects on what will be giving us the fastest time to value. Again, that could be lack of resources, not enough IT staff. It could be lack of budgets. Also, we could have complex legacy systems that are very challenging to update to new technology. So at least that's what we see within the organizations that we talk to in regards to our low-code platform. So low-code technologies really can help organizations in key areas to reduce that IT strain by enabling citizen development, managing change more efficiently, and breaking down data silos. It can also help, because we're able to create custom applications utilizing low-code technology. This also leads to, lower total cost of ownership and also, user adoption. We're able to create applications to enable employees to work like they live. So this creates a distinct advantage over traditional development solutions, which, at times, as mentioned, can be cumbersome, expensive. They can be difficult to customize to specific business requirements. All of this is addressed with low-code platforms. So it's that combination of having that custom development, packaged applications, and low code that will enable organizations to manage that project backlog a lot easier. So here we can see some of the tangible benefits for organizations. Again, taking that strain off of the IT department by enabling citizen development. We'll talk a little bit about the low-code technology in a minute. But we are able to take some of that development off of your traditional IT resources and put that into the hands of what we would call citizen developers. They have the ability to develop as long as they have an understanding of the business processes that they're trying to accommodate, and also put those applications into place. Low code also enables you to have less user IT. So, if people are going out and purchasing specific point solutions, there's a lot of technology that is having to be managed throughout the organization. So, IT departments are trying to string together multiple applications, trying to figure out how they're going to work together, and then managing those applications going forward. So low-code platforms really helps to eliminate that by putting everything onto a single technology. This also enables you to be more agile because if you can develop and maintain those applications utilizing low code, you don't have to necessarily be an expert in every single point solution that you're trying to manage. This also enables your staff to be more efficient, right? We're not trying to learn different technologies and how to stitch them together. Everything is on a single platform. We talked about the ability to realize a faster time to value. So traditional methods generally can take a long time for application development, unless you're buying, an out-of-the-box, solution. But if you're even buying that out-of-the-box solution, it's still going to need to be configured to your specific business needs. Well, low code gives you the ability to quickly and efficiently adapt to those changes and get those up and running. And again, we talked about reducing the app development costs. So citizen development is generally 19% cheaper than traditional development resources. So when you can use citizen developers to create applications, we can help to lower that overall app development cost as well. So to dive into that a little deeper, we're going to give 3 particular examples of how low code can help in a little more detail. So we know that demand is growing faster than IT departments can keep up with it. So low code really enables rapid application development of business applications with a technology that doesn't require any heavy coding or development skills. We can now employ resources, citizen developers, as we like to call them, to create applications quickly and efficiently utilizing a single intuitive technology. And again, we'll be talking a little bit more about the Creatio low-code platform in just a moment. The reduced strain on IT departments can also help lower the overall cost of development. And as I had mentioned, and you can go out to Glassdoor or any of the job sites to learn, what a traditional developer, earns from a salary perspective versus citizen development resources. I know, on a recent survey through Glassdoor, those resources are 19% less expensive than traditional methods. So, this enables you to reduce that strain and lower costs. We can also prioritize our backlog. So when we prioritize backlogs, we're always looking for, those projects that are going to bring the most value to our organizations. We're looking at that fastest time to value we can possibly squeeze out of the project. And low-code really can enable organizations to develop and deploy business applications 50% faster than traditional development methods. So if you can get out 50% more applications, that project backlog starts to shrink. And that keeps the business happy because, we had mentioned that, these are timely projects. Business wants these things because it's achieving a specific business goal. We're able to get those out 50% quicker utilizing low-code technologies. And because we can start to offload some of the application development and support to citizen developers, it also enables your traditional, more experienced resources to focus on bigger challenges, like keeping your infrastructure and your network up to date. So this also, we're not taking it from the approach of a replacement, but more of an augmentation strategy that will enable your IT department, to focus on, key areas of your business. Again, the infrastructure, the network. How do we keep them all up and running? Well, if we can keep them focused on that rather than developing applications across the organization, this frees them up to also work on those projects. So again, taking that project backlog and shrinking it more and more. So this is really why low-code can help an organization deliver value very quickly. So we've mentioned low-code platforms, and again, I feel that everybody probably will be vaguely familiar of what low-code is, but we'd like to take a look at the Creatio low-code platform that might help to explain how they help organizations even more. So when we talk about low-code platforms, we break it down into 4 parts. And we look at it from a complete life cycle of an application, right? So everything from designing and documenting processes. So we look at process modeling, documentation, all of the tools that are necessary to administer the platform. So user role administration, configuration management, license management, all of those tools that will help administer the platform. Then we talk about the application design tools that will enable individuals to create custom applications utilizing a drag and drop if and then condition designer. And this can be anything from applications to manage cases, design chatbots, model AI and machine learning algorithms, all the way down to configuring user interface. All of this can be done very easily without any special coding or development skills. Again, you just need a good handle on what those processes and what you're trying to accomplish with the tool is. And then beyond that, we look at the entire application lifecycle management as well. So that ongoing support of that application as it's deployed into the field. So managing the instance, the application monitoring, and then also feedback and collection, so we can make sure that the application in the way that the end users want. So we're able to take all of that in and make adjustments based on all of that feedback. So an application development platform such as Creatio is really focused on those 4 key areas, from designing it all the way through the ongoing support. And the idea of the Creatio low-code platform is to design and deliver custom business applications. Not only can we, start those from scratch, designing and building those and modeling them, but we also have, a series of tools that help our customers through the process. So these come in the form of our ready-to-use components that are available directly on the platform. We also have a marketplace with over 650 pre-built modules and templates that our customers can repurpose for their specific business needs. So they're not having to reinvent the wheel every time that they need to spin up a new application. And we also have ready-to-use modules that are available directly out of the box. And just to give an example, we can see some of the ready-to-use functionality here on this slide to give, paint a better picture for you and give you a sense of, what's available. So, ready-to-use components could be, global search, data import, all of the analytics that's built into the platform, marketplace add-ons, and connectors might be things like CTI integrations or connections into other applications such as, like, let's say a project management software like Jira. And then also are ready to use modules. So it could be, contact management, project management, contact center, or even, our traditional CRM functionality that we have built directly onto the platform. So all of this has been developed utilizing low-code technology. And when we talk about the technology at the foundation of our low-code application development platform, we have technology that is driving that. So here we can see the frameworks and languages that we use for front-end and back-end application development. I think it's important to note that Creatio, we're using an industry standard programming languages and also open source technologies to deliver, not only best-in-class end user adoption, but also development adoption for our customers and partners. It's also important to mention that we support multiple database management system options. We utilize also the latest open source technologies such as Kubernetes, Linux, and Angular solutions for reliability and productivity. And another thing to mention is that our product is server, browser, and operating system agnostic. So we know that multiple organizations have different needs. And we do our best to make it as easy as possible to develop on our low-code platform, but also integrate that with your existing technology. And to give a couple of examples of this, we have some case studies that we'd like to share with you. And these are actual customers that have developed applications on our platform and are starting to recognize the benefits of the applications that they've developed. So let's start with our great customer, Health Effects. And Health Effects is one of the, or not even one, it's the largest provider of Affordable Care Act technology solutions in the market, in that industry. They have 22.5 million clients and a tremendous customer retention rate, 97% customer retention rate. And to maintain that high customer retention rate, Health Effects needed a tool that would help them build and align complex support processes, everything from onboarding new clients to the ongoing maintenance for that clients. Through our platform, through the Creatio low-code platform, they were able to create many custom workflows that were fully extended and integrated across multiple systems within their organization, and enabled them to have a seamless handoff between various groups and departments as their customers move through their journey. And it really enabled them to automate, many self-service options for their clients as well. So with these new applications that they've developed, they were able to see a 17% increase in contract renewals. So we knew that they had a 97% customer retention rate, but in order to maintain that and make sure that that 97% stayed there, they had to implement these tools that enabled them to keep that high level of retention. But also on top of that, so that's how they're gaining, right? But it also helped them reduce operating costs because they were able to automate a lot of those processes that were very manual and very intense user adoption on that as well. So the next customer case we'd like to discuss is Automatrix, and Automatrix provides dealer management software for independent car dealerships, and it helps them manage their teams and operate efficiently across multiple locations, right? So if we think about independent used car dealerships, they're pretty diverse and spread out. Really what the Automatrix platform does is it helps them manage everything from inventory management all the way to their HR processes. So Automatrix biggest challenge was maintaining consistent levels of service when their customers would call in. So how would the calls be routed? How could they guide their agents to the best solution or the next best action for that caller? And with Creatio, they were able to fully integrate a case management solution that was integrated with their telephony system. So when those calls came in, they were able to route them to the proper area. They were able to be guided through that application and the best solution for that caller. And it enabled them to create better experiences for their customer. And also, the same thing that we had mentioned with health effects, help them increase their operational efficiency, saving them, both time and cost to support their customers. So they were able to do that. They have 16 solution models that they're providing. So you can imagine the differentiated types of service that they have, each one calling in about a different module. They're able to streamline that process very quickly, utilizing low-code technology to develop those business processes across their support team. And our last customer case is Croc. So Croc provides a wide range of IT solutions, including system integrations and managed consulting services. They manage over 2,000 IT products annually. And Croc had a very lofty revenue goal and really needed a way to streamline their sales and opportunity management processes. So before Creatio, this really was manual and disconnected for them, and they felt that they were missing opportunities, and then other opportunities that were coming into the pipeline were falling through the cracks. They really wanted a solution that would enable them to implement a new sales methodology, right? And they needed to do this through a very user-friendly interface, and that would help them manage their activities also on mobile devices, right? So not only an interface for the desktop, but because of the nature of their business, consultants, project managers, they needed to accomplish this on mobile devices as well. So with Creatio, the low-code platform capabilities enabled them to quickly design. I think it took them 3 months to get up and running with a minimum viable product. And implemented a fully guided and automated lead and opportunity management application. They also were able to develop a robust mobile application that enabled, again, those project managers, salespeople, consultants, to access all of the functionality on a mobile device. And on top of the user interface and process management that they were able to develop, they also integrated with many support systems like their ERP system, data management system, And also they're utilizing a unique RPA tool as well that can automate some of that process for their organization. So this really has helped Croc to have more lead to customer conversions, and has ultimately helped them grow their revenue, which they have a very lofty goal for that as well. So these are just some great examples of how companies have utilized low-code technology to streamline their operations and meet their business goals. As we had mentioned that, I'll go back to that slide where, the business demand is growing faster than IT has to pick up with it. So these are great examples of how organizations have utilized low-code technology to accomplish just that. Reduce that strain on IT department, get those processes automated and applications out into the market and producing for them very, very easily. So these are just three great examples, but obviously we have many, many more. And I think at this point, I've talked quite a bit about low code and demands and challenges. Curry, why don't we open it up to the audience for some questions?
Yes, Eric, thank you so much for a great discussion and some more details about Creatio's customer cases. So we have plenty of questions from the audience, and Eric, we look forward to having you answer them. So our first question is, would you suggest moving from software design the old way to this low code way?
Yeah, well, 100%. And I think that I don't think it would be a complete transformation. I still think that there's going to be a need for traditional application and development, but again, we're not trying to have a replacement strategy. It's more of an augmentation strategy. If there are applications that could be developed at the business analyst level versus IT, we're able to accomplish that through low-code technology. So as we move through that, it enables those traditional developers or IT resources, again, to focus on more of those demanding projects, networks, data centers, infrastructure. All of this also needs to be managed. So it's kind of augmenting versus replacing that technology. But I think with the right strategy, this can help organizations reduce that backlog and create quicker time to value and quicker time to market with the applications.
Excellent. Thank you for your response on this, Eric. That's very helpful for the audience. Our next question is, what development life cycles can be automated using low-code technology?
Another great question. So, we looked at, the low-code platform, and we looked at it in 4 different areas, right? So, when we talk about the process of modeling applications, we can start there. How do we model this? We can enable low-code technologies for teams to develop an application or a process very easily utilizing low-code technology. We also talked about the ability to administer and design those applications. So, everything from the user interface to user roles, everything can be configured very easily with low-code technologies. And then, obviously, the complete lifecycle management is where we're going to be managing that ongoing application, and we do that by enabling things like the ability to monitor the application, collect feedback, see what needs to be changed, manage that change through application lifecycle management tools, and then also manage the upgrades, and everything from an instance perspective can be managed utilizing low-code technology. So again, it can be automated right from modeling all the way down to the ongoing support of that application.
Excellent, thank you, Eric. Let's take another question. And how does it help to grow the productivity of development teams? And by it, I assume they mean low-code technology.
Yeah. And we talked about that as well, right? So, they can become more productive because they have the ability to utilize low-code technology in a way that, you know, is a lot faster than traditional development methods. We had mentioned that low-code technology can produce applications 50% quicker than traditional development methods. So anybody familiar with coding or development, there's a lot of work that needs to go into that. There is, you got to understand a specific language. Well, we can augment some of that with other resources because, we're able to take care of things like, again, maybe it's a point solution for a sales organization or a process flow for a support organization. Well, that can be done without any of those coding or development skills. So we're enabling other individuals to take care of those applications and processes. So that takes that burden off of the IT team to do that. So those projects can get up and running quicker, and then again, it enables those development teams to focus on those bigger projects. So that's really how it helps grow the productivity of development teams, but it also enables them to collaborate a lot more efficiently on projects as well. So we all know that there's great project management software out there, but a lot of times you need a full license to get in there and work with that application to collaborate with your teammates on it. There's sometimes a lot of different organizations involved in that process. Well, with a low-code platform, you can design and model those utilizing low-code technology. You can assign specific tasks, whether that's, you can view it, you can add notes, or you can make physical changes to the development of that application. All of that is done through low-code technology and can make IT teams more productive in the way that they manage that communication across their organization.
Excellent, Eric. That definitely paints a great picture for how businesses can overcome many challenges using low-code technology. So appreciate your response there. Our next question is, in our organization, do the prototype of app solutions involving formal software development teams, we do the prototype of application solutions involving formal software development teams. Is it possible to avoid involving senior staff members utilizing low code?
Interesting question. So, and I guess that all depends on how involved that senior staff wants to be in the development of that application. I see where you're going with that question, to try to streamline the process. And the answer can be yes, but again, I think that all comes from the strategy of the IT team and how they want to manage application development. So is it possible to remove senior staff if they don't want to be involved in that process? Yes. Maybe they just need to be involved in the approval of that application or approval of certain aspects. We can take them out of that process and only involve them when it's necessary. So again, I guess that would be a question of strategy, right? How involved do they want to be, or how disengaged do they want to be on that process? Again, maybe it's just an approval that needs to happen. Well, we can build that into into a process flow for the application development, making it easier for those individuals to remain focused on what they want to do. Right, the senior staff has a lot to manage, and maybe they don't need to be involved in that day-to-day development. So I guess it would be a matter of strategy, but the long answer is yes. I guess they could be taken out of that process.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Eric. Our next question is, can it be aligned seamlessly with existing software and working tools, meaning Creatio's low-code platform? Can we align it with existing software and working tools?
Sure. So low code is, at least the Creatio low code platform, again, is written on common languages and common frameworks that make it very easily to extend into other applications. We have standard BPMN notation. So if anybody's familiar with that, it's kind of easy to develop those processes. And again, because we're utilizing those common languages and frameworks, they can be extended into other applications pretty seamlessly. And then that's one of the key differentiators of the Creatio platform.
Excellent. Thank you, Eric. So we have another question that came in. Just bear with me while I work through this question.
Sure.
Is low code applicable for an app for doctors or nurses when they could deploy a medical workflow on their own instead of a programmer with no medical background? Solving the problem with the application or workflow is addressing more complexity. So I think what they're trying to ask here is solving the problem with an app workflow supportive of meeting complexity needs here?
Yeah, as I had mentioned, we like to call that citizen development, right? So, and if someone has a good example or a good understanding of a specific process, it can absolutely be developed. So in this case, they were talking about, doctors and nurses, and they have specific workflows that, they need to follow. So is it possible? Yes. And could it be beneficial? Absolutely. I think they had mentioned that, because of their background, they understand this workflow a lot better than, maybe someone in IT has. But, again, we don't want to turn it into, as a best practice, we don't want to turn it into the wild, wild west where everybody is just creating workflows and processes all on their own. There needs to be some governance over this process as well. So, so the answer is yes, that could happen. And again, that's what we're hoping to encourage is more of this citizen development. But as a best practice, it's also important to, to govern this process. So we don't want, 100 different applications out there being developed, because then when something breaks, they're coming to IT to fix it. So we want to make sure that there's a controlled process for this. But yes, absolutely, and that's what we're encouraging is that that citizen development.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Eric. Looks like we've actually taken the majority of the questions from the audience. So I think we're ready to wrap up here today, and we'd like to just thank our participants and the audience for joining today. Thanks for participating in our poll and for posting your questions today throughout the discussion. Eric, thanks for leading a great discussion today, as always, and we look forward to having our audience on future webinars.
Yeah, thank you very much, Corey, and thank you to the audience for joining. I hope that this gave you a better understanding of how low-code technologies, can help. We really believe it's the way to automate any business idea in minutes. So thank you again, and we look forward to speaking with you during our next webinar.